Hello viewers, welcome to my channel, Literature with NL. I am Dr. M. Naglakshmi. This is the second video of Dryden's An Essay of Dramatic Poesy. In my previous video, I have given an introduction about John Dryden and this particular essay, An Essay of Dramatic Poesy. I have mentioned this essay is written in a form of dialogue among four speakers, four critical positions, right? So the first one is Eugenius, the fictional identity of the real character Charles Sackville. Eugenius favors the moderns over the ancients. The second one is Critus, the fictional identity of the real character Sir Robert Howard. Sir Robert Howard is the brother-in-law of John Dryden. Critus argues in favor of the ancients. The third one is Lysidius. Lysidius, the fictional identity of the real character Sir Charles Sudley. Lysidius argues French drama is superior to English drama. And the last one is Neander, the fictional identity of the real character John Dryden. Neander favors modern English plays. Neander means new man. Let's begin with Eugenius. Eugenius favors modern English dramatists by attacking the classical playwrights. Why? He says the classical playwrights did not follow or observe the unity of plays. What you have to do? You have to remember point wise so that it will be easy for you to remember for the exam. Right? What is the first point? Eugenius favors modern English dramatists. And Eugenius attacks classical playwrights. Why? Eugenius says classical playwrights did not follow or did not observe the unity of plays. I have already mentioned there are 5 issues discussed in this essay. One among them is unities, right? So here he talks about unity of plays. So according to Eugenius, as far as the unity of plays, he suggests that the ancients were not the ones to insist on it. Then who insisted? Only the French, right? Because of the French playwrights, some artificial entrances and exits of characters appeared. And also, Eugenius acknowledges moderns have learned much from the ancients. They have not blindly imitated them. So, he did not deny the fact that moderns have learned much from the ancients. Right? Then what did he say? He says the moderns did not imitate the ancients. Whatever they have learned, they improvised. Right? They have perfected. So, Eugenius says moderns have perfected the division of plays, and their plays not only into acts but also into scenes. So, you could not see these kind of divisions in ancient plays, right? In ancient drama, there is too much of narration. So, you can often see monologues in ancient dramas. And then, he talks about themes. And he says, classical themes were defective. The proper end of tragedy should arouse admiration and concernment, that is pity. When you see the tragedy, right, the tragedy should arouse the feeling of pity or admiration. But the classical themes were lust, murder, bloodshed, which instead of arousing admiration and pity, they arouse horror and terror, right? That's what Eugenius says about classical themes. And also he says the horror themes can be softened. How it could happen? Introduction of love scenes. So, the moderns have tried, they introduced love scenes. The moderns such as Shakespeare and Fletcher. So, Eugenius compares the moderns with ancients, especially for the treatment of this particular passion, love, and he says the classical playwrights are much inferior to modern playwrights such as Shakespeare and Fletcher. And also he says the English have perfected a new way of writing not known to ancients. Right? What is the new way of writing according to Eugenius? Tragicomedy. Dryden coined this phrase tragicomedy in this essay. Right? Probably question varala. Who coined the phrase tragicomedy? The answer is John Dryden. And also he says if they had tragicomedies, perhaps Aristotle would have revised the rules. So he even says that during Aristotle's time, if they have the tragicomedies, maybe Aristotle would have revised his rules. And also he says what pleased the Greeks would not satisfy an English audience. Audience are different. The Greek audience are different. The English audience are different. The French audience are different. Right? That's what he mentioned. Who? Eugenius. So Dryden's view on tragicomedy brings out the liberal classism, greatness and shrewdness as a critic. So you have to remember Dryden as the father of English criticism because of his new thought. Liberal classism brings greatness and shrewdness as a critic. And also he talks about mingling of the tragic and comic provides dramatic relief. Dramatic relief to who? Audience. So these are the points you have to remember, right, for the sake of exam. Right. Now let's see Critus' points of view. Critus defends the ancient and raises objections to modern plays. Right? So, according to Eugenius, modern playwrights are good. Right? He favors moderns. Right? And he attacks classical playwrights. Who? Eugenius. So when you see Critus defends the ancients and raises objections to modern plays. It means he favors ancients and attacks modern plays. Moderns imitate ancients. So according to Critus, moderns imitate ancients, whereas Eugenius says moderns did not imitate ancients. They have learned from ancients. They have improvised. They did not imitate ancients. But whereas Critus says moderns imitate ancients. And as far as the unities, unity of time, unity of place, unity of action, Critus says the moderns did not follow unity of time suggested by ancients. What is unity of time? Unity of time, that is, action should be portrayed within a single day. So the moderns did not observe the unity of time. So when you see Shakespeare's plays, you cannot see the whole play in a single day narration, right? That is what he says. Unity of plays. Setting should be the same from the beginning to the end. English have all kinds of places, even far off countries. You can see in Shakespeare's plays, ஒரு playல வேற countries, வேற place கொடுத்திருப்பாரு. So he talks about unity of place. இதுதான். So he says the moderns did not follow unity of place too. And then the third one is unity of action. What is unity of action? Aim at one great and complete action. Right? One great and complete full action. What happened here? But the English has all kinds of subplots which destroy the unity of the action. So English has introduced various subplots. Eventually, it destroyed the unity of the action. So, according to Crichton, the English did not follow unity of time, unity of place, unity of action. Right? And then the next one is, ancients closely observed nature and faithfully represented in their work. So, when you see ancient plays, you can see the truthness. Right? They faithfully represented nature in their work. So, you cannot see that faithful representation in modern plays. But Crichton, though he disagrees all the modern playwrights, but he agrees. One, who's that? Ben Jonson. Crichton used Ben Jonson as the best example in English drama. Why? Because he followed the ancients in all things. It means that he followed all three unities. Unity of time, unity of place, unity of action. So these are the points you have to remember, right? Because these points, when you compare with Eugenius, Crichton contradicts Eugenius for these points. Right? And then Crichton's attack on rhyme. Rhyme is unnatural in a play. A play is in dialogue. No man speaks in rhyme. So, according to Crichton, rhyme is unnatural in a play. Because tragedy is a serious play. No man speaks in rhyme in a serious play. So, rhyme is not suitable for a tragedy. And also, he says blank verse also unnatural. So, he did not accept either rhyme or blank verse for a tragedy. Because no man speaks in verse either. So, according to Crichton, in a regular life, a normal life, no man speaks in rhyme or in verse. So, tragedy is a serious play. In this serious play, no one speaks in rhyme or verse. But he accepts rhyme where in comedies. Rhyme is allowed in comedies, not in tragedies. And also, he talks about the poet who controls his fancy. Right? One who has not the judgment to control his fancy in blank verse will not be able to control it in rhyme either. So, artistic control is a matter of judgment and not of rhyme or verse. So, these are the important points you have to remember for the sake of exam. Right? Eugenius points of view, Crichton's points of view. Right? I hope இந்த வீடியோ கிளியரா உங்களுக்கு புரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். யூஜீனியஸ் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூவும் கிரைட்டஸ் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூவும் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ரைட்? இந்த வீடியோ பிடிச்சிருந்ததுன்னா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.